Hello, my name is Rob and welcome to Metal Monthly. This is a video series where we talk about everything that happened in metal music in the last month. So let's just get straight on and talk about what albums came out in February. First off, Chelsea Wolfe with She Reaches Out to She Reaches Out to She. This is the 7th studio album by Chelsea Wolfe, and Wikipedia says that she mixes gothic rock, doom metal and folk, so I had to check this album out. So the album starts and it's quiet whispering in front of some really heavy background music. It was eerie and atmospheric. I didn't really understand it. After listening to it for a bit, I think this is more concept album than club music, basically. It wasn't bad music, it's just not the kind of music I would listen to personally. It's got nice clean vocals in front of some really heavy drums and synthesizer sounds. It was interesting. It's kind of like gothic industrial but without the energy of that, I suppose. Her Spotify bio says this: "There is a core element to Chelsea Wolfe's music, a kind of urgent spin on America's desolation blues." I don't know what that means. And I think that may be part of why I didn't really get this album. I think she's just working on a different level to me. I think that's it. But you know what? I love artists that do new, weird, different things, and that is definitely what this album is. If any of that sounded interesting, do check it out. Next up we have Ace Frehley with 10,000 Volts. So Ace Frehley was the lead singer and guitarist of Kiss until 2002 when the band reformed and Tommy Thayer took over his position. So he's now a solo artist and this is his 8th studio album. Obviously they didn't all come out after leaving Kiss, he's been a solo artist as well since the 70s I think. So 10,000 Volts, it's a kind of grooving classic heavy metal style thing, kind of reminded me of Alice Cooper in some parts. I think just overall it's a classic heavy metal album. I think that just encompasses what this album is about. Several of the songs are about women and sex and quite classic heavy metal tropes. One of these songs has the chorus, "You make me feel better when you wear your black leather." It's that style of heavy metal. I mean, I suppose it's more difficult to rhyme the word latex with things, right? So all the songs were decent, upbeat, heavy metal things, but there wasn't a whole lot of variation in them. All of the songs sounded kind of the same. It works well for the chorus of the songs, but then aside from that, I kind of want something else to differentiate each individual song. So it was a fine album, but it wasn't great. Next up, Amaranth with The Catalyst. This is the 7th studio album by Amaranth, the Swedish heavy metal band who are known for mixing genres and having multiple singers. My first impression of the album was that it was very fast, it had clean and rough vocals, often at the same time, and that overall it was just a very happy, positive album. All the music sounded very positive, it was weird. It mixes some symphonic metal, some power metal and some death metal, and yet still manages to sound upbeat and positive all throughout the album. I really did enjoy the album and I would recommend it, even if just to listen to the mixing of genres and the multiple singers all at once. It's a very unique kind of sound. Anyway, next up we have Music Festival Explorer. This is my website where I write about heavy metal, music festivals, things like that. In the past month I have written a blog post on what is the shortest song ever recorded. And basically, the hook here is the song that you probably think is the shortest song ever. I think I've proved that it isn't. If you want to find out what that song is and what I think probably could be the shortest song ever, link is in the description, please do check it out. And finally we have the fun stories from last month, and this month I have got 2 fun stories about the band Disturbed. So first off, somebody went to a Disturbed gig recently, and while they were there they saw that the people who do the sound, who kind of sit further back from the stage and they sort out the sound, they were watching Lord of the Rings during the gig. So I looked into the comments of this because it was posted on Reddit, and there were 2 people who were relevant to this. Either they worked in that industry or they worked at that gig talking about it. And one of them said, yes, this is probably a thing that does happen at some gigs, but no, they weren't doing it during the show that they were working on. So they were sound engineers for Disturbed, but this picture was taken during the support acts, so either Plush or Falling in Reverse. And so the Disturbed sound engineers didn't have anything to do, so they were watching a movie. It's not that weird, but it is a fun thing to see. And this leads me nicely into the second story about a weatherman in America who managed to sneak in lots of lyrics to Down With The Sickness onto his TV spots where he does the weather. I don't know what you'd call that, segments maybe? But he put a reel up on Instagram a few weeks ago saying that he had been sneaking in lyrics to Down With The Sickness into his weatherman reports, and it was really funny. So I don't want to just take the entire thing. Here's one clip that I think is the best lyric he managed to fit in.
Arctic air up to the north, but I'll animate this into next week when suddenly it changes. Violently, it changes.
It's brilliant. I love it. Apparently this is just a thing that he does, so again, check out his Instagram link in the description. Anyway, that is everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching if you've got this far. If you listened to any of the albums I mentioned earlier, please do let me know in the comments what you thought of them. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. My name is Rob, and I will see you next month.